Both Anderson Silva and Nick Diaz fail drug tests. This is a problem that the UFC just really needs to try and hit the nail on the head at this moment in time. Going to throw straight to a tweet from Darren Rovell. They basically said, a fighter is now tested positive for a drug in UFC 181, UFC 182, and US 183. What is going on?
You know, this is definitely one of those situations that the UFC is now on the ropes. I'm going to use a boxing reference for this because you see so many other leagues that have done something to prevent or at least discipline their fighters. In boxing, it even has happened. And of course, we're going to make relations to the NFL and other American sports, of course, FIFA. This is supposed to be the biggest year for the UFC to make a comeback. And stuff like Anderson Silva, who tested positive for anabolic steroids, and Nick Diaz failing a test for marijuana for the third time since 2007. And again, we know, like, I don't consider marijuana a drug, but there's got to be a line drawn for these fighters, because you made the point also that fighters you have younger fighters that are coming up, and what are they going to turn into?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, John Bones Jones is like, cocaine wasn't considered to be a performance-enhancing drug. Doesn't make it okay.
Right.
Like, these are guys and athletes that are looked up to, and someone commented, I remember saying, oh, he just likes to do a little blow. It's all funny, yeah, and fun and games, but it's not, because it's not the ideological example that you should have for one of the best pound-for-pound fighters ever. He should be abiding by the rules. So should Anderson Silva, and so should Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz, yes, we both agree that marijuana shouldn't be considered as a drug that's going to be contesting these punishments in sports.
Right.
American football is a primary factor that seems to be happening at the moment. But nonetheless, it's written in the rules. You're a professional athlete. You have been given this amazing opportunity. Follow the fucking rules, man. Just follow the rules. And when the rules change, then adjust to it. Like, I can only relate back to my sport. These guys, it's like Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, both getting caught for using performance-enhancing drugs. And that would knock me away from the sport. Yeah. I hold these guys in such a high regard. And Anderson Silva and John Bones Jones, two of the best pound-for-pound fighters ever in the UFC, now considered. Not only is Anderson Silva now could be called a cheat, like, he could be just, like, it just tarnishes our reputation, and it annoys me.
And so, getting to some more hard details of it. So the Nevada State Athletic Commission, which basically regulates everything from promotions to boxing to any unarmed combat to MMA, is the ones who administer these drug tests. Yeah. And maybe it has to do with them restructuring how they're administered. There's one thing that blows me away, though, and that is the fact that this test was given to, Anderson Silva was administered a random out-of-competition test on January 9th.
Yeah.
What PR team do they have that keeps a test that hidden till after the fight, doesn't surface till after? And look, we understand the whole idea that these fights could lose a ton of money if they cancel it, but you're floating with disaster.
The credibility of the fight.
We've seen boxing fall off the face of the earth because there's not enough fighters, not enough promotable, marketable guys. The UFC has John Jones, has Anderson Silva with a comeback. Conor McGregor, who we're big fans of, if he was ever caught for something like this, it would really tarnish the sport. It already has. But like you mentioned, it's not like these are undercard figers.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the most annoying thing about it. So just to get into the details first and foremost of Jones, on February 3rd, the UFC organization was notified by the Nevada State Athletic Commission that Anderson Silva tested positive for drostanolone metabolic, so steroids, on his January 9th out-of-competition drug test. So you're saying that? How did they keep that under wraps? The same thing happened with John Jones. Apparently, they knew that he had been testing positive for cocaine before his fight.
Right.
So, and it was still kept under wraps because that wasn't considered to be a performance-enhancing drug. But it's the testing system. Why are they testing them so soon before a fight? Like, if you send it for 3 weeks to get test results back, if they're saying that if they happen to come out with the argument that it wasn't disclosed by then, maybe test them sooner. Like, these fights are on the cards for months before. Right. Test them sooner if you're going to test them before the fight. It leaves a gap in between the fight, yes, but if you're taking 3 weeks to get results on testing for steroids, then you've got something wrong in your system.
Absolutely. It's a flawed system, and they got to make the change soon. So Nick Diaz, on the other hand, so Silva, anabolic steroids, that's a huge deal. Nick Diaz, again, marijuana, and we touch on the point that these guys are examples. These are what fight. Now, I don't look up to Nick Diaz, but he does have a fan base. And again, we are just at TYT in general. We know about the being pro legalization of marijuana, but there is a line that is drawn in terms of cheating, and there's a line that you just got to follow the rules. Now, Nick Diaz specifically is shocking because the NFL, which I'm going to relate to real quick with Josh Gordon, who is facing a year-long suspension. And whether or not, and I truly believe he shouldn't be suspended for what he has done, and he wrote a remarkable letter. You can check that out. It's from the Medium. It's amazing. But at least the NFL, and I can't believe I'm about to give them credit, like they have their rules, and if you break them, although I think the rules are fucking stupid for some players and certain drug testing parts of it, like marijuana, at least they stick to it.
Yes.
At least there's a year-long suspension, and you can't criticize them for that. So,
So I mean, we've got obviously our issues with this. Right. We are fans of the UFC, and I'm fans of sport. We're both fans of sport in general. If you don't abide by the rules of the game, then the upcoming, like those upcoming potential UFC champions now are looking at their idols in a flawed light. Like they're now looking at them as in someone who's potentially cheated, someone who gets involved in drugs off the scene. Like you're given a privilege, man. You're given the chance to fight, make tons of money doing what you love. Like I don't understand how you can't abide by the rules. Nick Diaz frustrates me because yes, it may be a difference of opinion on whether or not this drug should be considered a drug that should be banned if you're found testing positive for it. But the guy's been given so many chances. The rules aren't changing anytime soon, so why continue to do it? He's come out and said that in his legal home state that is he's been given it as an idea of medical prescription because he's got attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. But you are a UFC fighter, so you shouldn't be doing this if it's going to affect your fight, if it comes against the rules, and to continue to do it and continue to be allowed like back into fighting at this realm, like it baffles me. It honestly baffles me. So, as we say on our promo, we don't care what your opinion is as long as you have one. Leave your comment, subscribe to TYT Sports.
Catch you, Francis. Damn it.